Alrighty, welcome to another episode of Over the Bar. Sean back here again with me. I'm Matt. Once again, if you guys are just listening to the show for the first time, we do have some new listeners, which is always awesome to hear. So, just breaking down some recent stuff. Obviously, happy Thanksgiving to everyone, but let's get into some football. Some great action actually on Thanksgiving, which we'll get to a little bit later. But the biggest news since our last show, obviously, is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been fired from Manchester United.
Sacked,
whatever you want to call it, fired, sacked. He's gone. I wish he stayed, but he's gone. So I thought he was doing a great job from my team's point of view.
Yeah, if you're not a United fan, you wanted him to stick around.
He was doing a great job in my point of view. So Ole is out. Ralph Rangnick is reportedly in. From what we're just receiving here. So he is reportedly the next one to take over the reins on an interim basis for the rest of the year, and then a 2-year contract doing stuff like behind the scenes at United. But Sean, we'll start off. Your first reaction when you heard Ole was sacked?
That I hate that they did it the week before facing Chelsea in the league. I didn't catch much at all of their match. What was it, Tuesday in Champions League against Villarreal? From what I heard, they were pretty much outplayed the last 15-20 minutes. They did what United have grown accustomed to doing over these last few years, especially under Ole, just garbage time goals and pulling out results where they probably don't deserve them. But then, that was under Michael Carrick midweek.
Yeah.
So changed the manager, but the squad's still doing the same stuff.
Team's still the same. So, yeah.
A Ronaldo wonder strike if you only listened to the commentators and didn't actually see it. Ball falls right into his lap, and he just dinks it over the charging keeper. One of us could have converted that.
I got to say,
not.
I could have converted that, and everybody knows who knows me knows my game is crap. So, yeah, I mean, it is kind of expected, but like you, I was kind of hoping he was going to stay.
Oh yeah.
I was like, maybe if they're, dumb enough, they'll ride it out to the end of the year. But obviously that was never going to be the case. So I did I'm glad my team got a chance to play him because I think, obviously 5-0 was kind of nice. Felt really good. I knew it was going to be a big one going into there. It was going to be a big score we'll be able to put up.
5-0
slap head of the back.
Third place.
Yeah. So, I would still say that this team, no matter who is in charge right now, they don't have the personnel to beat a good team. So
after Ole got sacked, a bunch of the players came out and they said he's not the only one to blame. We're to blame just as much as anybody in the staff.
They really are. I mean, yeah. Was there any sense of direction for that squad? No. They don't know what. I don't think they have a game plan going in. To be honest with you, they kind of look lazy. So
they don't have the identity that they want.
They don't have an identity. I couldn't tell you if they're a counterattacking team, if they're a pressing team, if they're a possession team. Like I can't tell you if they are or not.
Their identity is the team that relies on the miracle result late in matches.
They rely on Cristiano Ronaldo bailing them out of every game.
Yeah.
That's what they are. And they don't have the defense for that. They don't have the midfield for that. And they don't have the supporting cast for him for that. So.
Jamie Carragher mentioned after the City PSG match on Wednesday that PSG won't really be able to survive with, he was calling them passengers, Mbappe, Neymar, Messi, because you can't succeed with only 7 players defending.
Yeah.
And with Ronaldo, he's not 3 players, but again, if you only have 9 players back there against a top quality club, you're not going to get 3 points out of it. There's only so much that he can really do on a counterattack, especially when there's, like you said, the personnel there to link up, to find that style, attack the way that they want to. That's not how they want to, but that's just how they have to at this point.
And he's a great player, not trying to take away anything from him, but at 36 years old, not as quite the amount of pace that he used to have.
He's not cooked by any stretch, but
he's not.
He's well past his peak.
Look at what he was when he was at Real Madrid. Obviously, he's younger, but hear me out here because he was surrounded by some world-class talent. I mean, Marcelo at the time in defense, Sergio Ramos in defense, Pepe. I can't even think who the right back was. Carvajal, maybe.
Yeah.
The midfield
And
was
elite
literally
midfield.
Kroos, Modric, and Casemiro. Like, it doesn't get anything better than what he had there behind him. He's never going to get that again.
No.
Look at when he went to Juve. It was the same deal with Juve. Juve lost their first title in 9 years? So, I mean, it's not something that is going to get better from here because he's not going to teams that are elite behind him, like you said. So
Clips from his time at Juve have been making the rounds from the All or Nothing doc. Quadrado stepping up and saying you need to be a leader. You need to lead by example. You can't just lose your cool and fly off the handle on everybody else.
he does kind of act prima donna-like. So
Show the clip of him crying after they got eliminated by Porto in the round of 16.
I do remember seeing that actually. I'll tell you what, that was one of the more exciting Champions League years. I thought it was pretty fun.
I thought it was a great Champions League year.
Not last year, the year before, wasn't it?
I thought it was last year.
No, it was the year before. No, who did they get outed last year? I don't think they even made it.
They might have been eliminated by Porto in the round of 16.
It might have been, yeah.
Because then Porto got eliminated by the champs.
Let's switch roles here. I mean, we're still talking United, but Ralph Rangnick coming in, obviously, was recently at Lokomotiv, leaving there now as there's an agreement between the two clubs to let him leave. He's made a big imprint on German football.
The professor.
Do you think he takes over here and does a decent job, gets him through, maybe gets some Champions League?
Champions League window's still very much open. Looking at it right now, they're 6 points back of fourth place. West Ham, they're sitting fourth, but they haven't played that tough stretch of their schedule yet. They've got a long December ahead of them. Really, every team does. It's going to be pretty much 2 matches per week for everybody until after New Year's Day. But United has enough time to be able to make up that 2-game deficit. We're 12 games in, got 26 to go.
Yeah.
So, all they need to do is really, like I said earlier, find that identity, stop losing 4-1 to newly promoted clubs.
And it's
instead of dropping 3, maybe you drop 2 and still save 1 instead of dropping 2.
Is it something he can switch with this roster right now? Because that's my concern, is that this roster is not built for the way he likes to play. They can't press. They can't defend.
They can't press with Ronaldo leading the line.
They can't. So their best option, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's probably Anthony Martial.
Yeah. Casey.
Never would have thought of that. Never would have thought of that going into this season, that he could be the catalyst that gets him out of this situation. But because Ralph Rangnick, he likes to press. He likes to get the ball moving.
Donnie.
Yeah. Van de Beek, I think for sure needs to be playing some more. So
the team needs an infusion of, and in this case, it's not even new blood; it's stale blood. It's been sitting on the sideline for 8 months.
You look at Jadon Sancho, another guy that I think that it looks like Ole wanted to switch him into a wing back. I mean, how stupid do you have to be to do something like that to a kid that's probably world class at the age of 21?
Probably.
There's a lot he's got to work on. Can he do it in the half season that he's going to be left? I don't think so. I don't think they'll get Champions League. I think West Ham will close it out.
Definitely opens up the competition for fourth, because those top 3.
Yes,
you're
not touching the top 3. You might as well write that one in stone right now. All 3 of those teams are going to make it to the Champions League. Might even look to win it this year. So who knows?
Of those 3, top 3 scoring clubs in the Prem: Liverpool, Chelsea, City.
Mm-hmm.
Fewest goals conceded: Chelsea, City, Liverpool. The 3 of them have an average goal differential of plus 23, and then West Ham have the 4th best goal differential at plus 9. There's only one other team that's above 0, and that's Crystal Palace plus 1. I don't know many people would have expected that.
And I think that's because of the domination of those teams. You look at why their goal differential is so big is because they're blowing out teams big time. I mean, you look at City, the way they just manhandle United, they're doing that to teams that should be up there too. Same with Liverpool. 5-0 against Watford. 5-0 against United. 4-0 against Arsenal. Chelsea, 3-0 against Leicester. They had a 7-0 against one of the relegation clubs.
And they're all nil. Oh yeah, Chelsea against Norwich. Yep, and they're all to 0 or maybe to 1 results.
Yeah.
If they, the losses that are on there are really all head to head. Chelsea lost 1-0 to City.
Yeah,
they drew 1-1 against Liverpool. There aren't any blowouts between those three. It's just they're having their way with really everybody else. Even midweek, Liverpool was pretty comfortable out there
with a couple teenagers on the pitch.
Yeah. So Chelsea, big second half, kind of steamrolled through Juve.
And that's actually the next thing we're going to get into is the Champions League. Great Champions League week. If you're looking for some interesting matches, a lot going on, both Tuesday and Wednesday. Your big takeaway from this round of Champions League football?
There aren't going to be really any easy opponents in the knockout stage.
No.
There are only a couple of groups that are really open in terms of who's going to come out of that third spot and clinch a spot in pot 2. Winning the group isn't nearly as much of an advantage as a lot of people might think it is.
Yeah, considering some of the teams that are going to be finishing in second. Yeah. So PSG right now is going to finish second. So somebody's going to get that club.
Somebody from that group is always going to have to finish second.
And you look at who could end up with them. You're looking at one of the 3 English teams that are left, that obviously excluding City because they can't get them.
Yeah.
So you're looking at Liverpool, Chelsea, United could end up with PSG in that first knockout round. So that's always going to be an interesting one. What's that?
I don't even know what that was.
I don't know what that was either. We get some. There's some ghosts in here. I'm
Ghosts of Chem Cleaner past.
Chem Cleaner past. Yeah, it's the guy that was stuck in the washing machine.
So yeah, Liverpool's going to be pot 1. City can't draw PSG in the first round. Luckily for them, being in the same group. Mm-hmm. And then you get Ajax, definitely winning Group C. Real and Inter Milan. One of those two is going to win the group, and then again, the other one's going to be a really tough pot 2 team. Yeah, Bayern.
Don't want them.
Yeah. United. The only team that could catch United right now is Villarreal, and I think they have the tiebreaker over them either way. So United might have already clinched top of Group F.
So that's
lots of challenges for PSG.
Now, of the teams that are in second,
safety.
though, which is, the only one you don't want to face right now, and maybe you can throw Juve in this too, depending on how
Chelsea,
they play.
Juve either one could still finish top.
Yeah, but it's let's just say let's give Chelsea that group. Let's give Chelsea because they play Malmo next match.
Zenit.
Juve's
got Malmo.
I always think that. So given that, let's give Chelsea a win there. Chelsea win that group. Of the teams that are finishing in second in their group, outside of PSG, I'm not really scared of any teams right now.
No, because Barcelona currently sits second, and they're facing Bayern, so they might not even make it out of the group stage. Inter Milan could be tough, but again, they're not terrifying. Yeah. It's not Antonio Conte's Inter Milan. Mm-hmm. Who is their manager right now? Who took over there? Inzaghi.
I was going to say Gattuso. I knew it was one of the Italian players.
You got Villarreal or Atalanta. Nothing crazy there. Wolfsburg, Salzburg, Sevilla, Lille. Whatever happens in Group G.
None of those teams scare me. So you want to basically, if you can avoid PSG in that first round and hope PSG gets, another big club like, United or
Atletico Madrid might squeak through. If they beat Porto, they're probably in there in that pot too.
They have to beat Porto. I mean, I don't even with Liverpool probably putting out a weaker squad against AC Milan, which I honestly wouldn't mind seeing. Kind of screwing over.
Or in Milan, it could be. Yeah.
Liverpool historically have been terrible in Italy. Last 3 matches there in Italy, we've lost. So
get Ibra back into the knockout.
Yeah. We're going to be playing a bunch of teenagers. They can probably handle it themselves. It's not worth the $3 million in prize earnings from that. No, I do think if you can avoid PSG, and hopefully it's like a PSG Bayern or PSG United knockout, like first knockout round, you're going to see a lot of the bigger teams go through to that final 8, and then it's going to be a bloodbath. because anybody can face anybody.
The way it stands right now, PSG wouldn't be able to draw Lille, so that would up the probability for all those other spots. Especially like you said, if Chelsea's top of their group, if United finish top, if Liverpool, they're guaranteed to finish top.
Yeah.
All these English clubs who already have enough on their plate domestically to draw PSG.
That's the last thing you want,
Right around Valentine's Day, go kick that one off.
Think of it this way, too. Let's say PSG eliminates that team. You're looking at a team right now that in one of Liverpool, Chelsea, and United that could either falter from that and crumble and ruin their season, or they could actually use it as a stepping stone. Say they get eliminated in round of 16. Mm-hmm. You're looking at a Liverpool team that is, 5 points behind, 4 points behind Chelsea at the moment. You're looking at a Manchester City team, which they can't get, but you're looking at a United team that needs to try to somehow get back in the Champions League football. Yeah. And you're looking at a Chelsea team that would like to win the league. I
got to prioritize certain competitions.
Yeah. So, other teams are going to prioritize things as well. So, there's a way in this that I'm not saying it's a positive to get knocked out of the Champions League at all. That's just stupid. But I'm just saying if you get drawn against that team and it just so happens to go that way, it's not the end of the world. Either you crumble, you learn from there, you pick things up, or you crumble and it could ruin your season even more.
At least you'd be, like you said, that you'd be able to focus on, fewer things.
Yeah.
Put more effort into everything else.
Absolutely. And we'll get into our EPL picks in just a little bit. I know you wanted to touch on
performance of the week.
Yeah.
Kareem Benzema. Incredible boy. Yeah. Scores a goal for Real Madrid, the win in Moldova, hours after being found guilty of blackmailing a former teammate. That is.
Explain to me the situation.
That is getting it done.
Explain that situation again if you can.
There is a sex tape, and his former French teammate Mathieu Valbuena. I guess he pressed the charges, or whatever. I don't know. There was a whole issue. Benzema was not with the national team for a while, relating to that and to some of his other, problematic statements regarding the federation and the coaching staff. Man's been through a lot. Still just somehow goes out there and scores goals against FC Sheriff.
Just kills it every single week.
Never a dull moment with Kareem Benzema.
Is he – I would say he's one of the top 3 most informed players in the world right now, right?
To be able to, keep up his goal-scoring rate in a few years now since Ronaldo left.
Yeah.
Got the shell of Eden Hazard providing, I think, 5 assists in
I think he's even
2 seasons.
Yeah, I know, right?
2.5.
I think he's even enhanced his game since Ronaldo left. I think he's actually twice the player he was when he was with Ronaldo. And I think that speaks volumes to not only him, but Ronaldo as well.
His play pretty much forced him back into the French team.
Yeah. You can't keep out one of the top 5 players in the world.
Clearly this issue wasn't resolved until just this week. Mm-hmm. And yet he was there for the Euros. Whether they won or not, they did not.
Do you think so all this, obviously he makes the French national team, right? For the upcoming World Cup?
Yeah. Do you imagine after that, I don't know how many more he's going to have.
This has to be one. Yeah. But could you imagine that, if this thing carries on, it gets a little worse, and obviously he's been.
He's got a suspended prison sentence.
Yeah, so he's obviously been, taken aback a little bit by the law. So he's going to be going to jail probably. We'll see what happens. I don't really understand the French justice system, so we'll see what the hell happens there.
I don't understand the American justice system.
Now, could it be? Here's my
He'll be
thing.
34 in about 3 weeks.
Would they let him play for France with a suspended sentence? Would he get that suspended sentence done early? Or would they'd be like, oh, guess what? You have to do it during the
I think if he started serving it right now, I think it would run up until the beginning of the Cup. I don't think there's any way that he'd be able to complete that sentence before the tournament kicks off.
Exactly.
We're less than 365 days away. Mark your calendars.
360 as of right now, I believe. So let's get to some of our picks here. Some huge games this week. Obviously, your Chelsea taking on United. You want to start there? You want to start with?
Oh no, we'll finish with that.
Finish with that one.
That's the closer of the week.
So, I think you beat me last week. You kicked some ass last week, didn't you?
I based on a manufactured tiebreaker, I edged you out. We both got 3 results right, but thanks to Chelsea and City with their 3-0 victories.
So I'm actually going to bring up some breaking news.
Exact.
Got some breaking news right now. Italy and Portugal will play each other to qualify for the World Cup. They are in the same path.
So one of them is going to miss the World Cup.
They have just been drawn in the same path. So it is most likely, in my estimation, that Portugal will not make the World Cup. I think Italy's a better team.
I think Italy is going to get through.
I'm just trying to – I'm sorry. The Wi-Fi is kicking my ass right now. But it just came up on my feed that Italy and Portugal have been drawn in the same path. So we'll most likely end up playing each other.
So we got like Wales or Austria will host the final against Scotland and Ukraine, I believe.
Yeah,
they're all flags.
Yep,
I'm not perfect with the flags.
Yep. So we got Wales, Austria.
Is that Russia?
We've got So we've got Russia versus Poland. You got Sweden, Czech, Turkey, and Portugal, and Italy versus Macedonia. So it's going to be Italy, Portugal. Basically, winner goes to the
probably.
This might be the best group to watch them. In my honesty, the Wales, Austria, Scotland, Ukraine, it might be the bloodiest one.
So of these 3 spots, we got Wales, Austria, Scotland, Ukraine, Sweden, Czech Republic, Russia, Poland, Portugal, Turkey, Italy, North Macedonia.
So right now, my heart is telling me Scotland, Sweden, Italy. My head is telling me Wales, Russia, Italy.
I was feeling Wales, Poland, Italy.
I can't see Poland getting through. I really can't. I love Lewandowski. I think he's one of the best players in the world, if not the best. But I just don't think that team is strong enough. I could see them losing big to Russia.
My heart wants Scotland, but
my heart does too.
My brain is telling me it's not going to
go with Wales. I think it's got to be Wales.
I don't even think Scotland get through that first match against Ukraine.
That's going to be a tough one. Yeah, Ukraine does play. They can play some pretty damn good football. So that's some interesting breaking news. We'll break that down as we get closer to those qualifiers as well. But the Italy and Portugal being in the same path, I think, makes everything more interesting when it comes to these now. So
Cristiano Ronaldo may have played in his final World Cup.
Oh my God, you'd love to see it. You'd love to see it. So let's get to some of the Premier League games for this week. Actually, I'm at my Wi-Fi is not even working.
Arsenal Newcastle starting things off early tomorrow. It might be a breakfast pizza type of day with Tony.
That is
any 7:30 Arsenal match.
That is a tasty matchup.
Is that a pun?
It is. I'm gonna go Arsenal. I'm gonna go Arsenal 2-0.
I mean, last place Newcastle.
I can't see them getting a goal on our. And I know Arsenal's defense is pretty shoddy if you watch the last match. So
if Ramsdale wasn't playing out of his mind the last few weeks, Arsenal would be singing a different tune. It wasn't as ugly, I would say, of a match, that 4-0, but it also could have been way worse than 4-0.
Oh my God, easily.
Watching the whole 90, it's like 4-0 is kind of harsh, but
could have easily been one of those matches that that Liverpool could have put 7 on them without even thinking about it.
Yeah, Burn Leno, probably 6-0, 7-0.
Easily. Ryan Ramsdale made some pretty incredible saves.
No disrespect to Burn Leno, just you ain't got it like Ramsdale does.
The reason why his name is Burned. Just throwing that out there.
Cooked.
What do we got for the next one?
10 o'clock window, only 3 matches this time. A nice light Saturday. Liverpool Southampton, the best of the 3. Always the best team of the 6.
This matchup always gives me problems. If you were to just going back off the history of Liverpool against Southampton, Southampton's actually played some really, really good matches against Liverpool. Most recently, not so much, but
because then Liverpool buys all their best players.
I mean, think of it this way: the first time, after Virgil van Dijk, when we played them, we only beat them 2-1. The match before that, we beat them 3-0. So I mean, this Southampton team, I mean, they're so shoddy in certain areas, but they can counter with the best of them. They've already gotten a result against United. They've gotten I think they got a result against Arsenal, if I'm not mistaken.
Coming off a loss to Norwich, though.
Yeah, and that's where we're at right now, is because this team is they're so hot and cold. I think coming off of no game in a week compared to where Liverpool have to play midweek, I do think that kind of benefits Southampton a little bit. Then again, I think if Liverpool's saving their big guys up for this game, they know how big this game is, because going into this, you do have the Merseyside Derby next week. So that's where the focus is. So I do see Liverpool winning this game. I think the score is not going to reflect the actual game. So I think it's going to be 3-0. But it wouldn't surprise me if this game is 1-0 up until the 80th minute. It's one of those funky games every year.
Yeah, I'm feeling 3-0. I wanted to say 3-1, but I don't. Yeah, fuck 3-1. Doing it. 3-1.
What do we got for the next one?
I'm gonna stop picking the same scores as you. Palace and Villa.
Palace Villa.
That's probably gonna be the best match to watch of that 10 o'clock window.
Easily. I think you're right. That's gonna be a good one. That one could end up being one of those back and forth games where nobody scores.
Patrick Vieira and Stevie G. That's kind of how Villa's first match under Gerrard was against Brighton.
True. I do think Villa has a brand new personality now as a team. You saw the way they finished that game against Brighton. I mean, Brighton's no slouch either. Brighton's a good team.
Yeah, started hot
and
cooled a little bit, but
they played really.
They're
well.
not falling off completely.
They played really, really well. So I'm gonna pick Villa in this one. I'm gonna go 2-1 Villa.
You're going 2-2 draw. I want to pick Villa. I talked to my dad. He said he's happy with Stevie G. Everybody there, they still love Dean Smith. No, they don't want any hard feelings. Just he was never going to be the guy to really take them to that next level.
Mm-hmm.
He did a fantastic job getting them to where they are now, but also for a club like Villa to essentially poach the manager from a club with the history of Rangers. It's a good pull for the club.
Yeah.
It's great for the development of their young players, and he's a hot young name in managing. So he may not be there for long.
And a lot of young managers don't have what he has in his resume. Not only does he have a trophy, but he's got an undefeated season. He's got an undefeated season in which they just torched that league. A year
Things
after
to be
they
said
barely
about
lost
that league.
I mean, there is again, but I mean, you're going up against a Celtic team that's dominated that league year after year after year, and one year you just blow them out every game, blow everybody out of the water. I mean, that's just unheard of. I agree though. I do think he is the right choice for Villa. I'm going to give Villa that one 2-1.
Norwich Wolves after that.
That's an interesting one because this is one of those games that I think is going to be sneakily good. It looks like shit on paper.
I mean, Norwich seemed to play pretty well under Dean Smith.
Yeah.
I mean, they got the kick in the ass that they needed. Wolves started putting it together.
Not like he might have Dean Smith really switched anything with that team.
6th place Wolverhampton.
Yeah, I know, right? It's kind of hard to believe at this point. But I see this one being a tight one. I'm gonna go draw. I'm gonna go 2-2 draw.
We got 1-1 draw. Because the two teams, neither one of them really scores too many goals. I think part of what's gotten Wolves back to where they were a year and a half ago is getting Raul Jimenez back, because they lost Jota to Liverpool. You lose Jimenez to a gruesome skull fracture. Who's going to score goals after that? They didn't really have much. The center midfield was aging. Adama Traore is just pace and quad now.
I'll dribble. No product. Yeah,
he's all glamour muscles.
So what did you have? You have 1-1?
Yep.
What's that last one?
Brighton Leeds 12:30.
Leeds 17th in the table right now, just 2 points ahead of 18th place Burnley.
Only 6 points back of Brighton. Early yet.
That's going to be good. I think it's going to be a good game. It should be a lot of back and forth.
There's going to be a lot of movement from both sides.
Oh yeah. I'm interested to see what the front line of Leeds is going to be if they go with the 19-year-old again. Joe Gelhart's a good player for that at that age. Will they have Rafinha back? Will they have Rodrigo back? Bamford, I don't think is coming back as of yet. I'm going to go Brighton. I think Brighton bounce back. I'm going to go Brighton 2-0.
2-1 Brighton.
You know what? You might make me want to change my mind now.
Nope, can't. Too late.
Too late. All right.
Too late.
Sonday's matchup. What do we got for the early one on Sunday?
We got a 4-piece at 9 a.m. on Sunday.
4 matches at the same time?
Yep. We got Brentford Everton, Burnley Spurs, Leicester Watford, City West Ham. Sunday's a nice day to not come into work.
You're welcome.
I might still come in for the big one at 11:30 anyway.
So let's go with that first one. We'll rattle that first one off quick.
Brentford Everton.
2-2.
Breverton. You got deuces? We can 2-1 Brentford.
Wow.
Bees are buzzing.
The bees are buzzing. Let's say next
That's what
one.
Thomas Frank he said in his presser today that they're going to use the same kit next season.
I saw that.
He said, fans aren't going to have to buy a new one next year. We're trying to make it more sustainable. Or nobody wants to buy Brentford kits.
Listen,
That's what it is. They've got so many left over, they're not going to be able to sell them. So we'll just keep them for next year and keep selling.
And then again, they just better hope that the Premier League patch stays on that kit. Let's not even think about that because you're going to be changing them up when there's no Premier League numbers anymore and no Premier League.
As well as they've played, as good as they've looked. Currently 4 points clear of safety.
That's not a lot. That's not a lot. I mean, yes, are they playing?
That could change in 1 week. It could change literally be next week.
They've looked good at times this year, but they've looked like crap. They have lost to Norwich, so there is that. What you got for that next one?
Burnley and Spurs.
Oh boy, Antonio Conte. Could you imagine if he lost this match?
Yes,
could you imagine
if he done?
Are you picking Burnley?
I am picking Burnley.
What do you got for score?
2-1 Burnley. Ben Mee header. Seal the deal.
I'm gonna go 2-2 draw.
Rottenham.
I think Tottenham kind of got a little lucky last week with the 2 goals in the second half to beat Leeds.
Granted, they came out, they looked entirely different.
They did.
Beginning of that second half.
They did. And that's why I kind of give Spurs a little bit more credit with Conte because I think he's going to be able to make adjustments like that. No other coach they had, I think, could do that. But
then they lose in Europa Conference League to a club that I had never heard of.
That was only created in 2012. So, I mean, they're –
right. Yeah.
They're
I have a little bit
highest,
of reason for never hearing of them.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go 2-2. I don't think the misery quite subsides yet in that London club. But yeah, what's that next one?
Foxes and Wasps. Or Hornets, not Wasps. Basically same thing. Flying insects.
I'm going to go Leicester.
Leicester Watford.
I think this is a game where Jamie Vardy just kind of takes over. When it comes to that back line of Watford, the fact that they were able to just hold up the 1 goal against United, I still think is pretty impressive, even given United's form.
Yeah.
But I gotta go here. I think Jamie Vardy gets a double. I'm gonna go 3-1.
I'm thinking 3-1.
Easiest pick of the matchup this week.
City and West Ham, 2nd place versus 4th place.
Ready to hear this? West Ham are gonna win this game by 2 goals.
Really, are they?
West Ham are going to win this game by 2. I think West Ham already beat this team once this year. Yes, it was the EFL Cup, and it wasn't Pens. But it's
the Pep Cup.
It is the Pep Cup. So they beat them in their own tournament. So I do think they have confidence going in. The way that City are playing right now, they're flying. They need to get into there needs to be a buzzsaw somewhere. And it has to be – there's got to be a game before Christmas that I think they will lose.
So you see a Kurt Zuma masterclass?
I hope
Sunday
so.
Morning?
I hope so. I honestly wouldn't mind seeing West Ham get this victory. I think it would bring things, like down back to earth pretty much. But I'm gonna go 3-2 West Ham.
I'm going 2-1 City.
2-1. So you're giving them at least a goal.
Yeah, I think Antonio might be able to bully one out of them.
That's the thing about about their offense. I want to know who they start. If I know who West Ham start, if they end up starting Bowen on the one side, Antonio in the middle, and can't even think of his name on the other side. Fornals on the other side. And sit somebody in between Benrahma or whether it's Lanzini. I wouldn't mind seeing Lanzini get a game. I think they could be pretty formidable against that back line of especially with how open they are.
Yeah.
They counter really, really well. And interesting to see what they do on set pieces. I do think City can give up goals via set pieces. So that's my big thing on that one too.
You said 3-2 West Ham?
I'm going 3-2.
Shake up the table a little bit.
Just a little bit. I think it's time that those top four will separate themselves.
We'll get your boys back up into second place.
For now. First is the goal. And then the last game of the weekend, Chelsea United.
Carrick's going to be on the bench for this one still, right? Like Ragnick's not going to come in.
Yeah.
It's a little
It
too
looks like
short
he's
of a
not officially
turnaround.
signing his deal until the weekend anyway. So
Sounds about right.
So you're going to get Carrick, you lucky dog.
Would have been luckier to have Ollie.
True, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Chelsea coming off of a pretty convincing 3-0 win against Leicester last week. And then I'd say a more convincing 4-0 win against Juve midweek. So they're hot. They're not entirely healthy, but they've got so many options in those attacking positions that they don't really need to have that one focal goal scorer. As much as bringing in Lukaku this season was going to satisfy.
Do they know if Lukaku's going to play?
He's fit enough to play. He's been in training for about a week, but he would have been more likely to start, I would say, if it were a Champions League match with the 5 substitutions as opposed to the 3 in the Prem. Because if you start him, all of a sudden you pull him off in the 20th minute, right? Do you need him
right for this matchup? I don't think you do.
Josh King was having his way with that United back line.
For sure, we could do the same thing. What do you got for scoreline?
3-1.
3-1 Chelsea?
3-1 good guys. And even that one, I don't want to do it, but I just feel a Ronaldo garbage goal in there somewhere.
I'm gonna shake things up a little bit. I'm gonna go 1-1 draw. I don't think United are going to be on the front foot as much. I think we're going to be a little bit surprised with the way they come out with their formations. I think they're going to change things up a little bit. Harry Maguire's back, which doesn't mean anything, to be honest with you. But it does mean that they're going to be more solidified in their positioning at the back. Doesn't mean they're going to be good, but it just means that they're going to know where they're going to be.
Does not mean they're going to be good.
Doesn't mean they're going to be good. I still think Chelsea get a goal, and it wouldn't surprise me if Chelsea get the first goal. But I see a shithouse goal in there somewhere, and I think that ends up ruining the game. Because I think once United do score, they're going to sit back. I think they know they're not coming out of here with a win going into this game. So if they score first, they're going to sit back. If they give up a goal first, they have to come out a little bit. But I don't think them coming out a little bit is going to be enough to score more than one goal. So I'll go 1-1. But it wouldn't surprise me if Chelsea do blow this one out and make it 4-1. 5-1, something like that.
Timo got his goal against Juve. It is all over for the haters.
It's Werner's season.
He's got the receipts.
So that's another episode of Over the Bar podcast. We'll be back next week. By the way,
after the Timo Werner brace.
Turkey overrated, by the way?
They still have a chance to qualify for the World Cup.
I'm talking about the food.
I know.
Oh, damn you. All right, we'll catch you guys in another episode of Over the Bar. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time.